Hello and welcome to FTT Chats. I'm Liz Lumley, and this is our special business banking series edition of FTT Chats. And sitting down today with me is Jordan Schwide, who is General Manager, Business Banking at Monzo. Hello, Jordan.
Hi, Liz. How are you?
Excellent. No, I'm good. I'm good. A bit cold. I'm waiting for spring, but it'll arrive eventually. But we're here talking about, of course, as I mentioned before, business banking. So I think it's probably reasonable to say that Monzo is still kind of in the early stages of branching out into the business side of the banking world. Can you kind of broadly give us some insight into some of the plans the bank has for this sector?
Definitely. And you're totally right. Monzo is very new in the business banking world. We actually just celebrated our first birthday last week. So we launched publicly on March 17th, 2020, just at the start of the pandemic. Obviously didn't know what was going to be happening. And a year later, we're still here all working from home. But I guess what's been really clear to us is that Monzo really can make a big difference in the small banking and small business space. And so if you look back at why Monzo was created and what our mission was, it was always, we want to make money work for everyone. And now more than ever, it's really apparent that means small business owners too. Like small business owners are consumers, many of them are business owners. And so for us, business banking is now a core strategic pillar for us. So how do we make money work for everyone? We have our consumer side, we have our business side. And so in the coming next months and years, it's really about developing out our proposition. So this first year has been about building the fundamentals. What do you need to really get started quickly, especially in the pandemic when the high street banks doors were closed and you couldn't go into a branch? How do you get started online and quickly? How do you manage your money, get visibility and control of that, and really just like do the basics that you need? Going into the future, it's really about how do we enhance that? So more than just instant notifications, things like that, how do we give you the insight that you need to run your business? How do we help you get the finance and servicing that you need? And how to really become that trusted partner and advisor that small businesses are looking for? So what I'm most excited about for Monzo in this space is that I think we are truly well positioned to do something special there. And the next years to come are going to be big transformation in the space, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned small, medium-sized businesses. I think in the digital space or the fintech space, the only conversation about business banking is that SME market. So, I mean, in sort of the past year since your launch, what are some of the specific business problems or issues that you are seeing with some of your SME clients?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the problems we're seeing right now are very much related to the pandemic and the coronavirus, of course, and the stress that has put on small businesses. Like lots of businesses are closing their doors, they're losing customers, they can't pay their employees, or they're fortunate they can put their employees on furlough. So a lot of the problems that we've seen historically with small businesses is it's been exacerbated over the past few months. I think if you look at it like at its core, small business owners often don't get into business to run a business or manage their finances. A lot of them are there because they love what they do and they want to make a living and they're trying to like be that baker down the road. I think lots of people have these images of business in their heads as everyone trying to grow all the time and just being hyper growth and doing all that. But really, what do these small businesses need? They want to get back to what they love. They want to do their job. And so for me, the biggest problems are like businesses are spending way too much time on compliance, administration, things that just like aren't adding value to what they're doing. And they really just need that time, space, and support to do that. And then when they want to grow, when they need support, when they need financing, they need a trusted advisor, trusted bank to go be there for that. So I think the biggest problems right now are getting visibility, oversight, and control, reducing the time spent on admin, and helping you right now survive the pandemic, whatever that may mean.
Yeah, you're not the first person to talk about that most SME business owners didn't get into that business to be accountants and to deal with all the banking stuff. It's very common. And of course, you also mentioned the pandemic, which is, the topic no one can forget about right at the moment. But you talked a little bit about, looking for that special sort of banking partner. Do you think that in a sort of a way, looking for a silver lining, the pandemic has enabled there to be a better relationship or a closer relationship between small business owners and banking service providers?
Definitely. I mean, I see the case right now. There's like the obvious thing, which is the government's doing all these amazing things with C-bills and B-bills and just like business lending for small businesses, and banks are being able to provide that. We at Monzo are not doing those ourselves. We don't do balance sheet lending. Like we're new to this space. But I am really, really grateful for all the banks that are able to help small businesses with that. But then when you go beyond that, we've heard time and time again from our small businesses that they really appreciate us just being there. Us, like, to quote some of them, they said, keep on being the good guys, because what we're doing there is we're helping give them advice, we're giving them information, we're letting them know that their money is safe, they're in good hands. And I think the big thing that we're able to do is, especially from a digital proposition space, we're able to quickly iterate, be agile, learn from their needs, and do things that help them really get what they need in that moment. And so for what we've learned is a lot of our small businesses are really worried about what's to come. There's a lot of uncertainty. So what have we done? We focused a lot of our efforts on content. What do you need to know right now? What's new in the government schemes? How do you support your business through this? You've never been online. How do you turn a business to an online business? And how do we help you get what you need there? Some of our businesses we've heard, one of mine that I actually have their candle here, she was a small business owner and was selling at markets. And when the pandemic came, all the markets closed. And so she had to completely move her business online. And she kind of told us a story about how Monzo really enabled her to do that. It made it really easy to keep track of her things, got started quickly, registered her account, all that stuff. And it just like made her life easier. So what we've been able to do is like do those things better in the pandemic. Some of the other things is they really need help budgeting differently because they haven't had to deal with this before. So what are the tools and things that we can do to really listen to your needs and tailor the service to you? I think in some ways the pandemic has made us all accelerate that, really listening to these small business owners and changing what we offer. But for banks like Monzo, that's kind of always been at the core of who we are. It's really understanding who our users are, what their needs are, and what we could offer them that's different from anyone else that's been out there before.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I love those types of stories, those personal stories, especially when talking about, banking and technology. And it kind of leads me to my next question. I mean, Monzo is one of the newer banks in the UK, a challenger bank, digital first. But sort of that sort of old view of looking at business banking is looking at the role of the relationship manager. How important is that relationship manager, or maybe a different style of relationship that you spelled out, when maybe a lot of both consumers and businesses would go to a bank like Monzo for your digital capabilities? How do you balance that relationship manager with digital capabilities?
Good question. I think the important thing that I think about when I reflect on this is I look at what is the point of a relationship manager? Why do they exist in the first place? What's the value add that they could have to businesses? And to me, like the most important thing that a relationship manager can be is a strategic advisor and partner to your business to help you do whatever you want to do, whether that's to grow, to expand internationally, or it's just to get through. Like we've said in the pandemic right now, it's sometimes just surviving. And yes, of course, relationship managers and traditional banks are there to cross-sell, upsell, help you find the products and things that suit your needs. But at the core, it's how do I tailor a service that is otherwise quite general from a bank to you and your business, give you what you need at this moment in time to do what you want to do. And I think that ethos is exactly aligned to what Monzo and what our proposition is trying to do. We're trying to turn that all into a digital aspect. And of course, there'll be parts of that we can't do. If you're super complex, highly like big needs of international trade and all that stuff, maybe not. But for a lot of our small businesses, like I'm talking about the 95% of small businesses that have less than 10 employees that are just kind of every day, they just want to know, what can I do right now? Do I have enough money to pay my bills? Will I have enough money to hire more people? Do I have enough money set aside for tax? All of that stuff is stuff that a relationship manager traditionally can provide in person, but can we make that a digital experience? I think the answer is yes. And the way we do that is by creating really hyper-personalized experiences in the digital world, being fully available in the pocket of your hand at all times, like a pocket advisor in your hand that gives you what you need at the right time. And it almost preempts the things that you're thinking about. I reflect back to like my old times. I used to work at a big bank, and the RMs there were great, but it was really unfortunate for the smallest end of the spectrum, like the businesses that we serve now, because you have the global banking, which you have an RM that serves the biggest businesses, large corporates, mid-markets, business banking. It's all segmented by turnover essentially. And then you have some industry specific things like financial institutions, et cetera. But when I was at the big bank, they actually had started to move off the smallest end of the business banking into the retail space. So the small end got portfolio managed, the one RM for 1,000 businesses. You speak to any of those businesses, they'll say, I don't know my RM's name. I speak to them once a year when they need updated KYC information on me. That's it. And then the smallest end, which is a lot of the people who bank with us right now, actually got pushed to retail, but with none of the benefits of like a retail consumer account. Like business banking is still 10 years behind. And so what I'm hoping that banks like Monzo can do is find the best parts of relationship management that traditionally these people couldn't get at the bigger banks, and put that in your pocket and really, really transform like what a bank can do and what a strategic partner can be for you.
I really love that answer. I think that illustrates very well, the reason why this market, I think, has been underserved and ignored by the more traditional banks for such a long time. So that was a really nice, concise answer. I appreciate that. Um, we're getting to the end of our chat, and we started off our conversation where you mentioned that Monzo Business Banking was launched last March, at the start of the pandemic. So it's been a really tough year for everybody, everywhere, globally. So I want to maybe look ahead. Why don't you look for the next year? Where will Monzo Business Banking be March 2022?
Sure. It's a great question. So for me, what do I envision Monzo Business to be, and what is our ultimate goal? We want to be the financial control center of a small business. We want to be that nervous system that says, like, everything that you need is here in the pocket of your hand to run your business as simply and easily as you want. And to me, that means we don't have to build everything ourselves. Like, we don't have to be the best at everything. We have to be really good at the things that we are good at. And the financial ecosystem is quite big. A small business might be using an accounting tool, a payroll tool, all those things. And so how do we integrate those to give you the best insights and the most seamless experience to run your business? So a year from now, I want to be well on my way towards that vision. And what I'd expect is that 1 year from now, we have hundreds of thousands of more businesses using us. And I want them to be able to say, why wasn't banking always done this way? Why was my life not always this easier? And how have I now been able to save so much time and do so much more? And what does that look like in practice? I think that means we're going to build tools that help people get more visibility, more control of their finances, whether that be through better budgeting and deeper integrations with different tools. We're going to support more types of businesses. One of the things that we definitely don't have right now is support for international payments. 30% of UK SMEs ship and trade internationally. How do we give them the support they need? And then the big one for me that's like top of my list is small businesses this year more than ever have struggled to get paid. They're getting stretched on their payment terms. It's longer and longer to get paid. So how can Monzo Business create new and innovative ways to help you as a small business owner get paid faster? And I'm really, really, really confident that we're going to do something this year that will help make that a much better experience.
Exciting. So lots to look forward to. Jordan, thank you so much for sitting down for our business banking series at FTT Chats. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Liz. Have a good one.